Hi, this is Spotted Llama, and today I'm building a tiny build. In tiny builds, you're restricted to certain numbers of tiles. I'm only going to be using tiny living objects and base game, and I want to aim for the goal of having the micro home, which is only 32 tiles, and you'll see at the top the counter goes up and down for how many tiles I'm using. So this tiny living pack has a Murphy bed, which you'll see right there I just placed. It allows you to double your space, so you've got a couch and a bed, and it's just great because you can really double the size of where you're living. It comes with a TV too that doubles as a bookshelf. I really wanted to split up the area a little bit by adding this half wall here so I could add a seating area, but it still was kind of a studio feel, so didn't have to worry about like doors on like an angle or anything like that. I really love these high tops because they're just so cute and they work really well. Initially, I wanted to have like an extra seat for like if a friend came over, but space is really premium when it comes to tiny builds. So there we are. I wanted it to have a full kitchen. I thought like the people who lived here, like just because they're tiny living doesn't mean they don't like gourmet cooking. Here's this tiny desk that came with Tiny Living. Besides the high school years pack, this is the only one I know that has the single square desk, and I love it because you can stick it in alcoves in regular builds or a kid's room, and you're not taking up a ton of space. I like the big desk, especially because you can put so much stuff on it, but it doesn't always work out for the best. Decorating the bathroom, and I'm eventually going to flip the bathroom because I didn't realize that the wall of the shower stall was blocking the view. I really wish it was something that The Sims you could flip, because it really bothers me when the shower wall isn't like supported by like an actual wall. I decided to do like a bump in here, so there's like an entryway just for kind of interest, and then so I could have an alcove for the desk. I know it does make it a little more cramped, but it also makes it, I love the desk alcove idea. And it also gives you more space if you want to hang things on the wall. I added the foundation of the one on the stilts. It just like matched the aesthetic. I kind of thought of this as like maybe the outside kind of looks like a trailer, but the inside is like really cute and done up. So here I'm just adding paint and tile. On simple builds like this, I like to add like a single tile or like maybe a wood, just to unify the living room, and then add rugs. I ended up changing my mind in the bathroom and just did the matching kind of speckled tile, because it looked more like kind of how like a Japanese bathroom would be, where you can just hose down the whole thing. It's like a wet room. I love this rug because it matched the wall so perfectly. I would have loved to put it in front of the bed, but I was too afraid to leave it there, even with I used the build sheet, because I was afraid it would interfere with the Murphy bed working. And once I finished that up, I kind of realized there wasn't a lot of different colors, so I changed some of the object colors. I put some yellow in there for contrast, and I changed up the color of the counters just to kind of match more, bring that kind of light fuchsia pink out more. I love doing clutter decoration. A little limited because I'm only using base game and tiny living, but I love doing clutter. It just makes something look so lived in, and you can add a lot of decor stuff where maybe you think you couldn't before. I did have some problems because I forgot that I accidentally locked the camera with the 9 button, and that also raises and lowers things. So I had some trouble with this at first, and I hadn't done like a clutter like this that didn't have like a snapping desk, like a desktop or like the top of a dresser where you could snap it and then move it off of there. So it was a little trickier because there's not really any snap on there, and I forgot that there's little snap slots in the bookcase on the left. You can see there's a smart speaker and then like some flowers, which is great, but it also means that stuff kept trying to snap to it, and I couldn't figure it out for a minute, and then I realized later, and I moved the bookcase out of the way so I could add a few more things. And things kept getting stuck in the wall. It was just a whole thing, but I didn't want to give up because this is such a perfect decor space that you wouldn't think of putting things in there. I like to combine tiny living and the interior decorator pack, the Dream Home Decorator pack, because they're both pretty modular. They look more modern, kind of like an IKEA kind of look. But I didn't here, obviously, because I wanted to limit it to 2 packs. So if you wanted to download it, you wouldn't have to worry if you had the pack or not, because you have to have tiny living to get the benefits of having a tiny house. So we're going to decorate the outside. Not my favorite part, but I always start with this garden hose. I don't know why I love it so much. Maybe it like brings back childhood memories of like drinking from the hose and playing in the sprinklers. But it's just such a cute little outdoor piece. I wish there was more like outdoor pieces like this in the base game. There's some fun ones in Seasons. Seasons has some fun like hanging succulents and stuff like that. We add the roof. I went with a metal roof. I initially was thinking of doing a skylight, but with a roof this small, it really did not look good. It kind of looked like a pile of garbage when I was trying to add roof tile to it. So I ended up just doing a solid metal roof, and here we go, me painting in a pathway. I really wish the pathway had some snap to it, like a path tool, almost like an Illustrator, just because I really struggle to get the paint in like a good line that makes me happy. So here I'm going to add a back garden. I always love gardening with my Sims, and I have since Sims 3. It's just like a fun activity. You can make some money off of it. If you add into the mix cottage living, you can do competitions. You can turn on challenges on the lot where the only way you can eat is if you have the food in your inventory. A lot of fun. Again, I pull out the dreaded terrain brush and I just paint this up a little bit, just to give it kind of a more tilled look, instead of just growing things in the grass. Since this pack doesn't have the garden beds, I could have done the pots that you see here in the outdoor activities, but I wanted to go with just kind of more of a tilled space ready for planting. I didn't put any flower beds or any plants in there. I wanted, if you downloaded it, for you to just be able to do what you wanted from the ground up. These are my favorite bushes. They look well kept without having like they're too square like the hedges, and they end up in a lot of my builds. They stack on each other really well. You can see I've got the cheat turned on because I'm stacking them on each other. Outdoor decoration is probably my least favorite part about Sims, just because I never get it to look like it's good. It's a lot of effort for not a lot of gameplay additional. Like, it looks really amazing, but you can't really do stuff in a lot of these bushes. I wanted to add some outdoor activities since we can't really fit any skill building stuff in the house. That was far too big, and I forgot about the telescope here, so I added a telescope and a chessboard. Here's where I'm going to cheat a little bit. So you'll watch the ticker at the top go up once I close off this room, and that's because the game is counting that as a room because it's a closed off area and it's got floor tiles. Well, I wanted to make an outdoor kind of hangout bar space, but I didn't want it to count against my things because it's not, it's like more of a patio type of thing. So I'll add some small looking columns here, and I'll just delete the walls and the floor, and you'll see that the tile counter goes down. So now I've got a glass roof on there. It's a nice little kind of pergola / just kind of covered area, since if you have seasons, you do have to watch for rain and snow and things like that. And I'm going to add a bar here. I initially really liked this big one, and then I realized it was too big for the footprint of what I wanted. And if I made the pergola covered area any bigger, I think it would overwhelm the lot. It would honestly look bigger than the house. So I found this cute little bar that matches the inside counters. And so it's got matching island bits, so I can do wraparound, which I love doing. And I just built a little bar here. And just made it look like, a place you'd want to hang out. I need to add some bar stools, because we got to have places to sit. And I realized there was going to be a spot on the right where there's a column and you couldn't have a bar, so I wanted to add some decor in there. So I added a few cluttery items that you'd see, in a typical bar, a home bar especially. You got paper towels, you've got You got a nice plant. Just kind of make it look homey. It's those little touches that make like a sim build look kind of nice. And just, this is what I was talking about before, where it's easier with counter height because it just snaps to it and then you can drag it over and the height stays the same. So I got that where I liked it, where I was happy. In the online build, I decided to add a stove and I added a sink, so it's got an outdoor kitchen as well, and just made that kind of my own. I add a few more bushes and it's time for the paintbrush again, and we'll see me just kind of painting up some kind of like worn paths, and I want to make sure that there's like rock under here because I know it looks weird to have like a bar and it doesn't have any sort of like ground cover. But I didn't really want to use the tiles because I was afraid that the computer would count that as tiles again, and I'd be back where I started. So let's see the Sims tour the house. So thanks for joining me on this speed build of a tiny house. I ended up naming it Gardening Nook for the large garden at the back. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. This build is available in the Sims gallery under the name Spotted Llama 11. There's a link in the description. Thanks again, and until next time, have a great day.